The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
We're all familiar with the three whats: what it is, what it can do for me, and what does it cost. Tyler Rickenaugh, Country Financial, can help you find the answers with insurance coverage to help protect what's most important to you, all at a price you can afford. So while you're juggling work and kids while trying to keep an eye on your financial future, Tyler Rickenaugh, Country Financial, will make sure they are the first ones there when you need them most.
The kids are back to school, and your schedule is busier than ever. From daycare pickup, doctor's appointments, sports, and college tuition, a parent's signature is a powerful thing. Have you ever stopped to think, what would happen if you weren't able to provide one? With thoughtful estate planning, you can make sure that your child's health and education needs are met in the event of your absence due to a temporary incapacity or even death. The estate planning team at Hurley Burrish is here to help.
Fostering deeper relationships, influencing behavior change, developing resilience. You're about to start winning. Here is your host, Christine Bright.
Welcome to Parenting Game. I am so glad you are here. We have a great episode about bike safety. I don't know about you, but when my kiddo was growing up, I get so frustrated trying to get his bike helmet on properly. There were many times where I know it was too far back on their head, or he's riding away from me and it's lopsided, and it wasn't going to benefit him very much if he did fall. So I'm excited today to have Jim Toombs from Erik's Bike Shop, who's going to teach us how to put helmets on properly and also share with us all the safety equipment, whether you're biking, skiing, or boarding. Jim, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, you know my wife.
Yeah.
And then we have two children, 5 and 7. They were actually born on the same day, 2 years apart. So
Oh, wow.
It's 19th. It'd be an entertaining day around our house.
Yeah, what makes it easy for a birthday party, right?
Done.
Yeah, awesome.
Really.
And then tell us a little bit about what you do at Erik's.
My title is the Milwaukee and Madison area market leader.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with 6 retail locations, 2 in Madison, 4 in Milwaukee, and really just kind of work with the store staff, store managers, and do the best that we can to provide excellent service and knowledge to our customers.
Yeah, well, I've shopped at your store, and that is definitely the case. So I also like to ask this. Parent of 2 kiddos, share with us something that you feel you've done well as a parent.
I think we try and get our kids involved in a lot of activities, and whether it be dance or gymnastics, soccer, different things like that. We want to introduce them to a lot of different things, but then see if they're into it or not.
Yeah.
And with some things, we saw that maybe the passion wasn't quite there, so we'll just say, let's finish the season or get through the recital, and if you want to take a break from that, that's okay. And right now, Rosemary, my daughter, she's in soccer, spring soccer league, and she seems to really like it, so I think that's something we'll continue on with.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. And you'll notice we're looking off camera because we do have a special guest who is going to come on, and we really wanted you to be able to show how to properly fit a bike helmet on a child. So Rosie, come on. Thank you so much for being here. Wait, you left me hanging, sweetie. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. All right, so we are going to do one of the most important things. Now, a question that I had when we were initially talking, and I was being a little cocky because I thought I knew what I was talking about, but I was like, we're going to talk about all sorts of different helmets because, you can't use one helmet for everything. And you're like, well, yes, you can. I'm going, okay, good thing we're doing this segment because there's stuff I need to learn. But right now, you're going to show bike. Madison's a big biking community. I think most kids nowadays, they grow up with bike riding. So that's why we're going to focus on having you show how to properly fit the helmet, and also show with us some of the typical things you see that's not going to be helpful.
Absolutely.
If your kid falls.
Yeah, so the great thing about a lot of the helmets nowadays is they're a lot easier to adjust. This is designed with just a yoke right here, so you don't have to restring the ties through the main section of the helmet. And then it also has a really nice dial adjustment on there as well too. So normally in the garage, I'll have Rose put her head back like this just to get her hair out of her face. And then we always want to start at the forehead.
Okay.
And then bring it back around this way. One of the things that we see a lot of the times is kids wearing a helmet like a bonnet. Sweetie, if you could look that way. This is not going to offer the protection that it needs to for the forehead area. So by starting at the front and bringing it down, and then this dial will snug down and hug the occipital bones right behind on her head, and it just kind of cups that, so that actually stays on pretty good.
Oh, wow.
And then from there, it is strapping. And one of the mistakes I see a lot of times is sometimes people will snug this up like a muzzle. And it's just really uncomfortable. It just has to be snug enough where it's not going to come across the chin.
I did not. I do that to myself in my own helmet. I feel like it has to be. So really, what's keeping it on is how you put it on, and then snugging up the.
Device in the back.
Okay.
And then, again, you don't want it loose, but
Yes.
it doesn't have to choke you. It can just kind of be, if it's just kind of touching the bottom of your chin, that's ideal. So.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
how's that feel, sweetie?
Yeah. Do you feel good and safe? I think you'll be ready to rock and roll.
It's a happy accident. It matched the.
Yeah, I know. She's just like so great. Okay, give me a high five. That was awesome. Okay, we are going to have you jump down. You can go right over there. Thank you so much. Okay, as we discussed at the beginning, I said there isn't one size fits all, and there is actually a helmet that you can use whether you're skiing, boarding, or biking. But then are there helmets, we know there are specific helmets that are only for biking. Then do you also have helmets that are only specific for skiing?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you can either go specialty, or you can do the one size or the one style that fits everything.
Yeah, so this is a helmet by Smith, specifically designed for winter sports. It has quite a bit of insulation inside of there, but then also has ventilation that you can open and close.
Okay.
It's not uncommon in the springtime to actually break a sweat when you're skiing. So to be able to allow for some ventilation, that's a nice feature to have.
Okay, and then too, when you're putting on a helmet like this, I see it has the
Same, yeah.
What did you call that?
A retention device.
Retention device. Okay, I like it. Is it the same way? Do you want to start with that front and then put it to the back? And does it follow the same rule? Do you have to strap it on tighter if you're doing skiing or boarding?
It depends if I'm wearing a balaclava or a face mask or something, but no, I usually follow the same rules.
Okay.
Just kind of make sure that it's snug enough that it's not going to come past my chin if I do take a tumble. But this particular one fits my head really snug.
Okay, and just to clarify, what sports can you use this helmet for?
Skiing, snowboarding, anything where the temperature is below 50 degrees.
Okay.
If it were above that, it would be
too hot. Got it. Okay. And what do we have next for helmets?
And then here, these are cycling specific helmets. The unique thing about this one, this is made from a company called Burn. It comes with a summer pad set, but all of this Velcros out of here, and they make winter pad sets that you could put it in. So this is the helmet that we were talking about, could be used all year round.
Okay.
Two separate pad sets.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around winter biking. I am very much a fair weather biker. I need it to be sunny and warm, and I'll bike when it's hot, but cold biking I have not gotten into. I watch people and I'm like, I'm impressed that you're willing to do that. Yeah. But yeah, they need to have that warmer gear to do it.
Yeah, and they actually do make fat tired bicycles now, which are specifically designed to go through snow.
Yes, as I said, I see people all the time and I'm like, you go, I will stay in my car with my heated seat. So share a little bit about this helmet.
There's two separate helmets here. You can see that this is really the pinnacle of helmet technology when it comes to strength to weight. They use Kevlar and different materials in there where it makes it super breathable. And you can feel the difference on how lightweight that is versus this one.
Oh my,
The weight of it.
yeah.
So still offers a ton of protection, but really designed for competitive riding.
Okay.
Where weight is really the main concern. Something like this is considered a mountain bike helmet. You can see that it has a lot more protection in the back of the head.
Okay.
So if you were going downhill at high speed and take a tumble, this is going to offer quite a bit of protection. And this company, Fox, actually does make full-faced helmets as well too. So if you ever see on TV the guys that are going off cliffs and things like that, they'll have
need some more. Okay, now I do have one question. The fashion question.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you get the helmets like at Walmart that have this plastic piece on, and I was immediately told that I would be considered a bike nerd if I left that on there and popped it off. Can you just explain the purpose? Why is it okay to have it off?
It's personal preference.
Okay.
It's a visor. It will help with if you're riding in the woods and you're going between trees, you can, if it's close to dusk, the sunlight it'll be like a strobe light. So when you're on a mountain bike, sometimes your position is a little bit more aggressive, where the visor does help out with that.
Okay.
So that's where you see it really kind of making a difference. A lot of other bikes, it's more of just a fashion piece, and a lot of them do have removable visors.
Okay. All right. Good. That was
So,
really.
but you're still cool if you.
Okay, if I have it, yeah. I'm like, people, I am succumbing. I'm now wearing a helmet with my bike, and then and take the visor off. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, so I did. Okay, as we go into other safety with bikes, one question I did want to ask you. Families are going out riding. So you and your wife are going out riding with the littles. And I got to ask this question, and I said, well, you're going to have to wait until I have Erik's because I'm not sure how to answer it. But what is the safest way to ride with your kiddos? So should they always be in front of you? Do you have one parent in front, one behind? Is there any recommendations you can make for safe riding?
Absolutely. If Shannon and I are riding together with the kids, we bookend them.
Okay.
So one will be up front, and then the other one will bring up the rear with the two in between. That's easy. What's difficult is if one of us is riding with two kids. I think it's up to the individual kids and comfort level. My preference is to have Rose in front. She's really cautious, apprehensive. She knows at every intersection to stop. If she can go further ahead of us, she'll stop and wait for Betty and I to catch up. But I'll have her go first. Betty, my younger, will be in between us, and then again, I will bring up the rear. I'm the tallest. I'll try and at 5'6", I'm the tallest in the family. But I just, it's the most likely that I'll be seen by a motorist. So that's, and then also I like to be able to see both of them at the same time.
Okay.
Now I will say, crossing a busy intersection, I will go halfway out, escort the two of them, wait for the last one to get past me, and then follow them.
Okay.
Almost like a crossing.
Yeah. And are there any rules, again, or recommendations between when you should be riding with your child on the sidewalk and then when it's better or more feasible to have them ride in the road with you?
I think it probably depends again on the individual child, but then also the condition of either the sidewalk or the bike path.
Okay.
There's a couple spots in my neighborhood where there's a tall hedge that comes right out to the sidewalk. So it's if someone's pulling out of that driveway, they basically have to get the hood of the car past the sidewalk before they can see if there's someone in the sidewalk or another car coming. Same thing with like a bank of mailboxes, things like that. Or if it's a really decayed sidewalk. If you have a really little one with a 12-inch kid's bike, 1 or 2 inch crack in the individual pieces of concrete can throw a little one for a loop.
Okay.
So in those situations, I would recommend bike lane. If it's a really busy street, again, you're probably safer on a sidewalk.
Okay. And hopefully we'll get a little time to talk about that too. We're fortunate to live in Madison, which is such a pro biking community. And I was looking up and going, how many trails are in Madison or in Wisconsin? Because Wisconsin in general is starting to become very biker friendly. And it was over 101. And I said, I got more trails to explore. So speaking of which, so you're getting your bike ready. You want to go biking. There is so much safety gear that you can have and recommend. I have the blinking lights, which I have to say, I've saved my cookies a couple of times. Let's start with the lights.
Sure.
So a lot of times people think I only need the lights when I'm going to be riding at night. But I would have to say my front light probably has saved my cookies during the day, especially with people backing out. So share with us a little bit about what you have for lights and what is recommended to put on your bike.
Yeah, when we're talking with our customers, we try and get an idea if it's to see with or to be seen.
Okay.
If you're riding in the city, even at night, a lot of times there's just enough artificial light where you can see. So really basic things, just like little clip-on blinkers. And these are super inexpensive. Just a little watch batteries here, 2032 battery. Wrap around any seat post. Most helmets will have a little area where you can put a tail light in there. And those are great just for motorists, pedestrians to be able to see you.
Okay.
If someone is a commuter, they're better served with something like this. This is a 350 lumen light. It's USB rechargeable. So you can plug it right in. You don't need to buy batteries.
Oh, that's great.
Purchase. And then if someone is out in the country or if they're riding trails at night where there is no artificial light, this is really the ideal setup. This is a 1,000 lumen light, and that will actually paint a circle of light in front of you, similar to like a motorcycle headlight.
Okay.
And it just will give you definition in the terrain as well too. So you'll be able to see shadows and things like that. Where if there's a tree root or something, you can see what's there.
I love the technology because I remember growing up, the big thing for me for a bike light was the one that was regenerating, where you hooked it up to your tire.
Yeah,
Do they?
yeah,
and now it's, you can plug it in and charge it with your USB. So how technology changes. Do you recommend putting lighting on your child's bike?
It's probably not a bad idea.
Okay, but if
my kids are young enough where they're
always
never going to
riding.
be out at dusk or beyond that. But it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, so if they're going to be riding alone, get them some, or
if
with
they're
friends.
younger and they do ride their bike to and from school.
Yes.
Sometimes in that awkward, just before daylight savings time, kicks on, it can be a little bit darker at the start of the morning. So lights would be very important at that point.
Okay, and you have some other equipment here. Explain I still need to get one of these. I think about it often. How many times it would just be helpful not to have to do that back look.
Yeah.
So share with us a little bit about this safety
Yeah,
feature.
there are tons of different types of mirrors. This particular one clamps right onto the handlebar. There are also some that will mount onto either helmet or glasses. And I personally will wander a little bit. Just my center of direction, if I turn back, I'll go one way or the other. So just to be able to continue to have my head pointing forward and see what's behind me, I think is really important. So those exist. A lot of bikes now, especially e-bikes. One of our biggest add-ons for that, outside of like fenders and racks, if the bike doesn't already come with that, is adding a mirror.
Okay.
And again, going back to the lights, we do sell a lot of e-bikes that will come with an integrated brake light, and some of them actually have turn signals now as well.
Oh my goodness,
they're really
that's
designing more to be integrated on road with traffic.
Okay, awesome. And that's one thing to remember too. As I said, as I got more into biking and really having to pay attention to rules of the road, and that was one of the things that was often told me, you're a vehicle, so you need to obey like a vehicle would. And I said, but I'm on a bike, and they're like, biking etiquette. Yes, you have to obey the traffic signals. Okay, share with us what this was here.
This mounts on your handlebars and it holds a smartphone. So,
and I have one. Do I have that one?
You may.
That is the one that I have.
So you can tell us about it. And this is really, again, just from a safety standpoint, instead of having to try and fish your phone out of your pocket to see who's texting you, things like that, you can just have it right on your
Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's been great. I got my first one when I was in Washington, D.C. We were staying on the Vermont side, and then we were going to go into D.C., and when I was planning the trip, they actually had a bike path from the Vermont side that would take you all the way down to the memorial. It was so cool. But having that so I could watch where I was going was so helpful.
Yeah, there are a ton of different apps now. Strava is really popular.
I use that one too. I like it for tracking. Okay, we're going to have you move down here. And I wanted to get into a little bit about, and as I said, I've been knocking on wood for the past week because I keep talking about this, that I do a lot of riding and I have yet to get a flat or to derail. So I need to find some more wood. I know, and it's one of my things when I start biking a little bit more this year, is to get the kit for if I get a flat or if I derail. And it's not a lot of equipment, so we'll move this out of the way here so you can reach. So share with us how easy it is what you need to just be prepared for that.
Yeah, so what we have here, this is called a wedge bag. It mounts underneath the saddle of the bike. So it's out of the way, your body's not going to rub against it. They fit very snugly so it's not jiggling while you're riding. And inside of the bag, in mine, I will put a CO2 inflator. So this is compressed CO2, and that is a little inflator that will push that through. A spare inner tube, and then tire levers. This is little self-adhesive patches that are inside of here. And if I get a small little pinhole flat, I will try and isolate as I'm coming to a stop, and I'll try and stop with it right there and just keep my eyeballs on it. I'll look and see if it's a small piece of glass or metal. And if it is, then you can use a patch and then reuse the inner tube. If it's more of a glass cut or a gash, then that tube is done. So that's why you always want to make sure that you have an inner tube on you. And this is actually called a tire boot. So if you do get a large enough cut in your tire, it doesn't do any good to put a new inner tube in there, because as soon as you inflate it, it's going to want to push through that cut and then deflate again. So this peels off and it sticks to the inside of the tire, and it gives reinforcement so the new inner tube will not push through. And then the way that these work is that all of this stuff will fit inside of here. I brought an example here, so that just kind of shows how it sits underneath there. And this one's a little bit smaller even than that one, and I'm able to fit everything that I need inside
of there. You do have an example to show us, and this is something, there are places you can take a class on it, but it's very easy to YouTube and figure out how to do it. But you have an example of how quickly you can inflate.
Yeah. So historically, people would bring a frame pump with them, and this would mount to the bike, and you would, by hand pump it up. For quite some time now, what's been really popular is the inflator, and before we got started, I took all of the air out of here. So what you do is you just push it until there's a little pin inside of there that opens it up, and then you just go back about a quarter turn. Hopefully that's enough. And then you put it on here. And that's probably 50 psi right there. This is a 700 by 42 tire. Recommended psi is probably, for the type of riding I would do, would be around there, depending if it's off-road or on-road. But that is how quick it works, and that's enough to get rolling again.
And you don't have to be, if you're just going now to get to where you need to go, you don't have to be perfect with the PSI. No. You can adjust it once you get home.
I just kind of do I push and I make sure there's enough in there, and then when I get home, I'll take my floor pump that has a gauge, and then I'll top it off to the proper pressure.
And check it. Okay, so we have time to get into some other safety gear, because you guys do more than bikes. You sell stuff for skiing and for boarding, and all of that has equipment that can help keep you safe besides the helmet. So share with us some of the other equipment that's out there to protect your kids. And Even on a bike, I did have a little one who was afraid of falling when he first started his bike, so we got him elbow pads and knee pads. That made him feel more secure, so it worked. But you know that you definitely need more gear when you're doing the skateboarding and the skiing. So share with us what.
And I think that's a really good point you bring up. Is that when you're not afraid of getting hurt, it will boost somebody's confidence level and make them a little bit more daring and get out there and do it. So these are pad sets. This is a little knee and elbow for youngsters. These come in a blue and a pink, and just Velcro, really easy to get on. This is a 3-pack, so knee, elbow, and then there are also wrist guards in there as well too. So
yeah, how important are wrist guards? My sister snowboarded twice in her life. Broke the left on one time, broke the right on the next time. So when you're getting more into that boarding and that higher speed, I mean, because most of our kiddos and us aren't biking at really high speed, is it important? Is wrist guards a really important thing to have?
If you're snowboarding locally, we don't always get blessed with fresh snow, so the man-made snow it's just a harder pack. And with skiing, there's a little bit more of a margin of error. Snowboarding, when you're learning, you catch an edge and you go down. And it's either on the tailbone or, it's just instinct to put your hands out.
Okay.
So wrist guards when you're learning, I think, is incredibly important. Or on individuals that like to go into a skate park where they're maybe there with their friends and they're really getting each other riled up to go bigger, to try different tricks and things like that. Just being able to not land it, which as you're learning a trick that's 90% of the time before you actually nail it.
Yeah.
So just to have that protection to save your skin and bones, it's really nice to have. So.
We are running out of time. I thank you so much for being on the show, clarifying the helmet issue. So I'm hoping now as I go out riding, I'll see more parents getting that helmet on properly. So I thank you for being here. And as I said, if you need protective gear, Erik is going to be there to help you and help you get fitted. And I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of The Parenting Game.
We're all familiar with the 3 whats: what it is, what it can do for me, and what does it cost. Tyler Rickenaugh, Country Financial, can help you find the answers with insurance coverage to help protect what's most important to you, all at a price you can afford. So while you're juggling work and kids while trying to keep an eye on your financial future, Tyler Rickenaugh, Country Financial, will make sure they are the first ones there when you need them most.
The kids are back to school, and your schedule is busier than ever. From daycare pickup, doctor's appointments, sports, and college tuition, a parent's signature is a powerful thing. Have you ever stopped to think, what would happen if you weren't able to provide one? With thoughtful estate planning, you can make sure that your child's health and education needs are met in the event of your absence due to a temporary incapacity or even death. The estate planning team at Hurley Burrish is here to help.
Thank you for watching The Parenting Game. All episodes of The Parenting Game are available on demand at sunprairiemediacenter.com.